No, we're going to try that again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second convening of Workforce Wednesday. All right, there we go. I know it's 4 p.m. I know it's Wednesday. I do appreciate your energy and enthusiasm. This month's convening is Pitch Essentials. So, please make sure if you haven't already, sign in. Make sure you sign onto your phones and get comfortable. I have allotted 2 hours for us, but we're going to go until we're done. Right? I'm an adult. I know y'all are busy. I want to make sure we're using the time effectively, right? Let's start out with introductions. I want to know your name. I would love to know also if you were a musical instrument, what musical instrument you would be and why. Okay? So I will start. My name is Arya Zarrinkelk, and if I was a musical instrument, I would be a bass guitar. Because I understand that bass is more meant to be felt and not necessarily heard. And honestly, when there's no bass, there's no music.
My name is Cedar Banks, and I guess if I were to be a musical instrument, I'd be a theremin, because it can make really weird sounds. So I like that.
Cool.
My name is Jen, and if I were to be a musical instrument, I'd be a violin, because it's calm and soothing.
My name's Scott. I'd be a piano because I played it my whole life. So, yeah.
Awesome. Send that back. So the reason why I have y'all ask this question, or ask you this question, is I want you to start thinking about what's unique about you, what's special about you, right? And how are you going to be able to articulate that to someone who doesn't know anything about you, right? Because the goal, whenever we're going out and looking for opportunities, is getting people excited and engaged to hear about you through telling the same story over and over and over again to different people. Hi, Janelle and Janelle's friend. So, Jen, can I have you read today's objectives?
After this workshop, you will be able to understand a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Answer the question. Tell me about yourself.
Excellent. It is my goal that by the time we're done, y'all should be able to answer this question in a way that will make you feel confident and secure when you go out there engaging with people. Cedar, can you read today's agenda?
Agenda. Why is the pitch important? What are the key components? Opportunities to practice, and Q&A.
Thank you, Cedar. Exactly. So this is a pretty direct and to-the-point workshop, right? I'm going to give you some context around why it's important, and then we're going to give you opportunities to practice, right? And I'm going to give you the template on how to be successful. Simple. Okay? Janelle, our newcomer, can you read today's quote for us, please?
Yes. If you do not tell the truth about yourself, you cannot tell it about other people.
Thank you. What is Virginia Woolf saying in this quote, y'all?
Keep it real.
Keep it real? Tell me more about that, Jen Ramos.
Tell the truth. It is what it says.
Yeah? But should I tell you about all the terrible things that I've done in my life, all my skeletons?
No, just highlight the good.
Ah, exactly. The way I always think about when we're engaging with employers and potential clients is think of it as first date truth, right? Like, you don't want to lie, because if you get caught and lie later, it's not good, right? But at the same time, you want to be honest, right? And present your best self forward. So that's, for me, is what I'm interpreting what Virginia Woolf is saying in this quote. Okay? Thank you, Jen. So, tell me about yourself. Hey, man, please sign in, grab a name tag, grab a cookie. So, why does this question freak people out? What are your thoughts? In my work, this question really freaks people out because they don't feel confident enough to say, I am this thing. Either because they don't like talking about themselves, they don't know yet, right? The vague or broadness of the question completely throws them off their game, right? But when you are going out there and talking with employers or talking with potential clients, you need to be able to articulate a very focused and clear and concise statement and vision, right? Even if you're unsure on the inside, that's totally okay, but you still have to project confidence, right? I mean, I think we know a president or two that might be projecting a little bit too much confidence, right? Now, why is the answer to this question important? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
People want to know.
People want to know? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What else? Thank you, Prentice. What else?
You got to distill down what it is that they're looking for, right? Not just tell them about yourself, but tell them about what it is about you that actually provides value to them as a company.
Excellent, man. Excellent. What is your name?
Andrew.
Andrew. Did you get your name, Jack?
No.
Cool. Okay. That's okay. Thank you, Andrew.
I can go.
Thank you. Right? Both absolutely, absolutely correct. Right? Not only do you want to be able to articulate what you are and who you are, but also what you're going to be able to do for them. Perfect. See, y'all are already ahead of the game because you understand the context of this question. But the challenge is always, always, always knowing how to answer it. All right? So, now it's time for a template. And I call the response to this question the mullet. Who has ever had a mullet in their life? Yeah? Roy? Scott? Really? I love it. Tell us why you guys got mullets.
Well, it just grew that way.
It just grew that way? Cool. So, I call this template the mullet because it is business in front and party in the back. Right? And that's how you're going to present your pitch. Right? Business in front, short, sweet, concise, party in the back. A little bit longer, a little bit more engaging, a little bit more exciting. And as you can see, Great Clips Best Haircut Camp has captured that for us. Okay? So, business time. Very simple. Very focused. Your name, what you are, and the tools you use in your craft. So again, your name, what you are, the tools you use in your craft. For example, my name is Arya Zarrinkelk, and I am an employment and training specialist at City College of San Francisco. I use active listening and my interpersonal skills to help clients get to the next level. Short and sweet, right? You're kind of setting it up. Does anybody have any questions about this? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay. Your turn. We're going to take a couple minutes, and I want you to write down your name, what you are, aka your job goal. Even if you are not 100% sure, right? You want to make sure to do it. And then the tools you use in your craft. So think software, hardware, right? Any other interpersonal quirks. Pick 3. Do you want to play? There you go. Make sure you get some cookies too, okay? So again, you're going to write down your name, what you are, aka your job goal, and then 3 tools that you use to make your magic. And they could be hardware, they could be software, they could be interpersonal skills. All right? Take some time. About 10 more seconds. All right. So, how did that feel? Okay. All right. Middle porridge. I love it. Was it for anybody? Was that really easy?
Figuring out the tools was a little bit.
But the tools was a little challenging. Okay, that's fair. Was someone that was really challenging? Like, oh my God, that was so hard? And it's okay if it was. No? Okay, good. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, the tools, identifying the tools of the craft can be really challenging because you're not sure if I should talk about, you know, like, I'm like 80% at Photoshop and I'm like 78% at Illustrator. Which one do I say, right? But just know the idea is to communicate you have some technology skills that a potential client or employer are interested in hearing about. That's really all it is, okay? And remember, the cool thing about the work that you're doing is that a lot of times it's subjective, right? So even though you may not think you are a master of InDesign, when someone looks at some of your work, they may think you are. And that's all that matters, right? All right. Does anyone want to take a positive risk and share with the group their business time? Yeah, Larry. Thank you, Larry.
Well, then I'm working right now, so it's a little bit easier.
That's okay.
So, I'm Larry Morales. I'm an associate real estate inspector. The tools I use are construction and code knowledge. Also, my interpersonal skills dealing with, you know, the building owner or the realtor or whoever it is. And the technology we use is we use 3D reporting, which is kind of a standard used in the industry.
Awesome. That's excellent, Larry. You know, if I were to give you feedback on that, on how to strengthen it, my name is Larry Morales. I am a, what was it, associate realtor?
Real estate inspector.
Real estate inspector. And then let's try to see if we can really shrink down the tools so they're just pithy, right? So the first one you said was knowledge of code and codes and construction. And then you said interpersonal skills, but you really were talking about people management skills, right? So managing expectations, communicating clearly, and responding effectively, right? So being specific, right? The more specificity you can provide, the better it becomes. The vaguer it is, the more people are like unsure, right? And then your last one was what, Larry?
It was the industry reporting we use is 3D, so that's the tech part of it.
Right. Okay.
So,
Excellent. And I'm a master of our reporting systems, which is blank.
yeah,
Right. Short, pithy, concise. Okay? Thank you, Larry. Okay, so that's the business time. Anybody have any questions about that? Pretty straightforward and to the point, yeah? Okay, this is where it gets a little bit more challenging. The party time. The party time has 3 components to it. Past, present, and future, right? So the past, how you got started on this path, right? What was the one moment or a moment that communicated to you, yes, this is my trajectory, this is where I'm going, this is my jam, right? So for example, if I was talking about being a musician, I would say when I listened to Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name, I was like, oh yeah, this is the power of music, this is what I want to get into, right? I mean, of course, you know, you're 8 and you're hearing some guy yell, F you, I won't do what you tell me. It also really pushes buttons. But you kind of get what I'm talking about, right? That part is really up to you to craft and create. And it's actually the opportunity for you to bring in your listener closer to you and being more engaged, right? Present and future are a little bit more rote and more specific. So currently, present is what are you currently doing? And this is exactly what I want y'all to be talking to people about, especially if you are a creative, right? Currently, you are working on your technical skills, right? You're taking classes at City College. You are brushing up on your portfolio, right? Some of you don't have a portfolio, and that's okay. You're working on it, right? And then conducting market research to learn more, right? Market research can be I'm sitting in front of my computer and trying to read up on a skill. Market research can be I'm doing informational interviews. Market research can mean anything, right? But if you're looking for work, this is what you should be doing anyway, right? So that is present. Future. The future is where you are going to think about who you're talking to, what is the context of the conversation, and connecting it to your future. Right? So you might say something like, that's why I'm so excited to be sitting here with you today. And if this is a job interview, you would say, because this would be the next step in my career. If you're doing an informational interview, you would say, that's why I'm so excited to be here with you today, Michelle, because you're helping me learn. Thank you. Always end with gratitude. Always end with gratitude. So here's an example. I got started on this trajectory reflecting on how successful my immigrant parents were when I was growing up, so helping others help themselves has been my jam for a while. Currently, I am brushing up on my technical skills, working on my portfolio, and conducting market research to learn more. And that's why I'm so excited to be here with you today, because you're helping me learn. Thank you. Right? The party section is a little bit more robust, especially the past. Because for some of us, it's really hard to identify, well, what was the moment that like kind of pushed me forward on this path, right? So this is probably the piece of the workshop that's going to take a little bit more brain power than you were expecting. So I ask that you take some time and put this together. Does anybody have any questions about party? No. Okay. Remember, silence is agreement when you're in a meeting. Okay? So, guess what? It's your turn. Take some time and write down your party section. I've obviously provided you some wonderful template to work with. Okay? So take a couple minutes and we're going to keep going. All right. Okay. So, how was that part? By a show of thumbs. Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Okay, good. You're in between up and sideways? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that. That's okay. That's totally allowed. How about on this side of the room? I didn't see. Sideways? Okay, cool. For the people who were thumb sideways, why was it thumb sideways?
It's hard to define something like a fun thing that is good to say. Like, oh, well, how do I present this thing that is also fun about me?
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. What else?
I think the past and the future was harder to get down on paper. Present was like easy. It seemed like it's just what's happening right now.
Yeah, totally.
Figuring out how to make whatever the past was interesting in one sentence.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I want to be clear, the past section doesn't have to be one sentence. This is actually the part of the pitch that can be the longest, right? But the idea is to have the whole thing bottled up in 1.5 minutes tops, right? So don't feel like, oh, I have to encapsulate my entire being in one sentence, right? No, you want to tell a little quick story, okay? And yes, Prentice, you're absolutely right. Challenging. Challenging, 100%. Thumbs up, people. Why was it thumbs up?
Kind of gives you a path of where you're going. If you can sort through it, it makes things clearer.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Everything that we do in the job search and even in kind of life, I always think of it as context, action, results, right? This part of the pitch is kind of in that vein, you know? Context is, well, how did you get here? Action, what are you currently doing? Results, well, where are you going? Right? So remember, if you're ever communicating with anybody about anything, except in text message, because Lord knows that it's so challenging to do, context, action, results. Pithy. Cool. Does anyone want to take a positive risk and share with the group their party time?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Just the one, the last one we just did, right?
Yeah.
So I got into marketing after first working in a sales role at the company where I'm at now. And I realized that I love that it combines both a creative and analytical skill sets. Currently, I am taking classes online and in person to develop my technical skills and industry best practices, and I'm actively seeking employment in a marketing role at technology-based startups. So I'm excited to be talking to you about working at your company if you were sitting here hiring me.
Excellent, Andrew. Excellent. Things that I thought were effective, clear. I get some context around how you got here, and I know what you're currently doing. You're being proactive. You're not sitting around and waiting, right? If I were to give you some feedback on how to be a little bit more effective, it's really diving into those two pieces of like analytical and what was the other thing you said?
Creative.
Creative, right? So it's like, maybe it's like something to the effect of, I love this stuff because it allows me to use my left brain and my right brain, right? I get to use my linear thinking, my non-linear thinking to be creative and analytical at the same time, right? Yin and yang. Right? I want to be clear, like, I can do this easily because I've been doing this for many years now, but it'll come to you. And this is the first step, right? So I want you to be thinking about these concepts and ideas, right? You're going to be in the shower one day, you're going to have an amazing shower thought, and you're going to be like, yes, that's it. Okay? Hey, Robertino. Okay? So, now the last step is assembling your mullet. Assemble the mullet. Okay? So, you just take the first part, and then you smoosh it together with the second part, and then you have your mullet. Voila. Simple, right? In practice, right? So, what I want you to do now is to pair up, and it doesn't have to be the person sitting next to you, whoever you want. practice your pitch. Okay, so that means get feedback. Specifically, what was effective, what needs to be worked on. Okay? And remember, it's not just the words, but it's how you say it. Okay? So you're going to pair up, practice your pitch. You're going to give your pitch, you're going to get feedback. People giving feedback, I want you to frame it as, what I thought was effective was this. What I'd like you to work on is this. Okay? And then you're going to do this a couple of times, right? Not just with one pair, one with one partner, but with another partner as well. Okay? So, any questions about what we're doing?
Do you want us to time each other?
No, you don't have to for now. I just want us to practice doing it. Okay? Maybe we could do that at the end. It's a good suggestion. Okay? All right. Pair up, practice your pitch, get and give feedback. Go! Three, bring it back in 2, and 1. Technology is driving me crazy sometimes. Okay, so we're all ready now with our mullets in their various states, and now it is time for community feedback. So, I'd like to invite someone to take a huge positive risk, sit in the hot seat, share their mullet with the squad, and get some community feedback. All right, let's give it up for Cedar Banks. Okay.
Hello, my name is Cedar Banks. I am an editor. I use Premiere Pro, Canon T5i, and my well of patience to complete a project. In the past, in high school, I would edit surf videos for my friends, and I would get so absorbed with editing them that my parents would have to remind me to eat. Currently, I am brushing up on my technical skills by taking cinema production courses at City College. I'm working on my portfolio, and I'm doing research to learn more about editing and cinema production in general. That's why I'm so excited to be here talking with you today, because you're helping me learn more about editing and cinema production, and that's the next step for my career. So thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Cedar Banks, y'all. That was great. Okay, so who's got feedback for Cedar? And remember, what to work on, what was effective?
What was effective? For me, I was like, oh, okay, cool. How you were like, my parents had to remind me to eat. That obviously showed me like, oh, he's very dedicated to his craft and will kill his body for it.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. What else?
I like the skills of saying like use Premiere, I use Canon, saying to use bye-bye, can I use the idea that you know what you're talking about. I also liked a well of confidence or
Patience, yeah.
I like that as as also an editor saying like you need somebody who's patient. I thought that was really good.
Excellent. What could Cedar work on? Yes, Roy.
Maybe as thankful part, use some owns or
Sure.
you could just pause and not say those words.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, Roy. Robertino?
It's okay.
No?
I just didn't know if is he supposed to be like pretending that someone's in front of him.
Yeah, it's the pitch.
So I guess I'm not to say anything because I'm a nervous wreck.
Well, that's okay. This is a safe space, right? That's the idea, right? I mean, you don't have to be a perfect master, right, to still
I guess
observe.
they tell you to always look the person in the eye,
Yeah.
not down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally. So Cedar, things that I thought were extremely effective about your pitch, like it was short and concise. I know what you are. I know the tools you use, right? I love that story. That's like what I'm talking about when I say the past, right? Like, you make me engaged. I want to learn more about you, right? things that I want to encourage you to work on are kind of how you're selling it, right? So just as Robertino said, eye contact, slow down, right? You got to really, like, if this is your jam, like, the tone of your voice needs to communicate as your jam, right? I know you were using your notes and stuff, but just be mindful of that. And pace, right? You don't have to rush through it all. Take your time. Okay? Cool, man. Let's give it up for Cedar Banks one more time, y'all. All right. Thank you, Cedar. All right. Does anyone else want to take a seat in the hot seat and get some community feedback? Okay. That's okay. You don't have to. Oh, Roy, you want to get in here? Let's give it up for Roy, man. I love it. That's right. For those of you who watch Dragon Ball Z, you remember, you only get stronger in the fray, right? You don't get not stronger by not battling. So, good man, Roy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Roy Matawarian. My job goals would be to be a college counselor or a job recruiter. But currently, I'm a lab aide here for the work experience department, and I'm a student here at CCSF. The tools that I use to help me out with my job is I use my communication and listening skills to help students understand and utilize CCSF's services. In my past, I used to work many years part-time as a sales associate at the big box retailer Best Buy. Working there, I realized I loved electronics and I loved to help people meet their needs. I also worked for San Francisco's Department of Environment, which helped me appreciate the world around me and sustainability. Currently, I am working on my technical skills, computer skills, as well as my communication skills in English and Tagalog to hopefully be a college counselor or job recruiter. I'm thankful for being here today with you all because I'm sharpening my communication and networking skills by attending this workshop.
All right, Roy. I love it, man. That's good, dude. Okay. Who's got feedback for Roy? Something effective, something to work on? Scott.
I would just say, you said the tools I use are my communication skills and blah, blah, blah to help whatever. I would just say for you to say, lose the tools I use and just say my communication skills and blah, blah, blah help me to blah, blah, blah.
I was going to have the same feedback, actually.
Yeah.
Great.
Other than that, yeah.
Excellent. Anybody else?
And maybe just work on delivery a little bit. You know, so it's, if we were like over the phone or something, it would sound like you're reading off a script, which you are, obviously, we all are. Yeah, just kind of work on that a little bit. I think what he said would go a long way. Taking stuff like trying to de-templatize it a little bit and make it sound like you're just rolling off the cuff instead of answering some questions. Yeah.
Excellent. Roy, if I had feedback for you, things that I thought were really effective were, I know that your jam is helping people and your goal is to be a college counselor, and you've gotten that skill set from being a sales associate. Things that I want to encourage you to work on are, just as Andrew said, de-roboticizing, de-scripting it, right? And it's got to be shorter. Okay. I think it was a little bit too long. You don't have to give us like all the background, right? So maybe you could say something like, I learned that I have a knack for helping people get to where they're trying to go working as a sales associate at Best Buy, right? And then you tell a little quick story where, you know, some irate customer came to you and you were able to like quell them and like make them chill out and help them find them and kind of flip the situation, right? Something like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Let's get it up for Roy, man. That's great. All right. Anybody else? Oh, okay. Scott. Let's get in there.
Roast me. Hi, my name's Scott Hutchinson. I'm a photographer and videographer focusing on music and travel documentary. I use Nikon equipment cameras and Adobe software like Premiere, Photoshop, and Lightroom to craft and share my point of view of the world. When my parents split up a couple years ago, I fell into depression. I picked up a camera and I just could not stop shooting day after day. Fast forward a couple years later, I was working for some of the biggest music corporations in the world, traveling to many countries, just documenting a lot of stuff. Shoot, now I'm lost. Currently, I am doing stuff, sharpening my technical skills at City College to further my career. I thank you for having me today. This would be the next step in my career trajectory.
Cool. All right, who's got? All right, who's got feedback? Yes, ma'am.
I love how precise you were in the beginning, business part.
Yeah, I fell off.
And then I loved your vulnerability, your authenticity about how you got into the work.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the end of the party kind of left me a little confused because you made it sound like you were successful already. You know, you were working for all these big music companies, and
Right.
you didn't really give me anything like, oh, well, he's already successful, so why does he need to talk with me? So I would try and be, I don't know, a little bit more specific about what you're currently looking for or wanting to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's intimidating for me to be like, oh, he's so successful. What does he need from me?
That's good.
Yeah, that was good.
What other feedback do we have for Scott?
I like the story, saying that that you worked for music companies. I think that's great. I'd elaborate more on that.
Yeah.
Say like what a little more of a story of like what you did in that time, because it does kind of show like I'm a professional. I've done this professionally,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of all I felt was like, oh, I want to know a little more about that. I think that's saying that you worked for music as a photographer for a music company is really interesting. I think people would like want to know more about it.
Excellent. So, my feedback for you, sir. Just as both Jung and Prentice said, I really thought your story and engaging, your vulnerability really brings us in, right? We're all like, oh, I want to learn more about this cat, right? Things that I want you to work on are really descripting it, presenting it with energy and enthusiasm, and then making sure the current and the future are very clear, just as Jung said. Like, what are you looking for, right? And we know you're looking for full-time work, right? Excellent.
Cool.
Good enough for Scott. Okay. All right, Mr. Prentice Sanders, let's go. Let's give it up. Y'all are doing great. I didn't expect so many people want to volunteer. This is fantastic.
Hello, my name is Prince Sanders. I'm a video editor. I use Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator to try to make videos and create visual ideas. I've been a AV nerd since maybe I was 7 years old. My grandmother showed me how to use Final Cut. I am currently a student at San Francisco City College Broadcasting Department. Always trying to improve my portfolio, make more projects. I'm always working on friends' projects, freelance projects, my own projects. And that's why I'm kind of interested in talking to you today, because I'm always kind of looking for new ways to improve my portfolio. So I just wanted to introduce myself.
Okay. Feedback for Prentice.
Casual. That was good.
I'd hire him.
Robertino would hire you. Excellent. Michelle.
I like the fact that even though you're a student, you still emphasize that you're working on projects and you're creating things and you have like a body of work to show. So that's good because I'm also in the same situation and I didn't know what to say. So it's really good.
Cool.
Yeah, small thing, but say your name slower because it kind of rolled out and didn't. If I didn't have it, see it on your shirt, I would be like, "What was that?"
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like how he said it twice, how he's improving his portfolio, and that shows that you know what to look for and you're constantly keeping yourself busy to improve, because it always needs improvement.
Excellent. Feedback for you? Things I find were effective were clear and concise, man. It's great. I love that grandma story. Could you imagine your grandma teaching you what you're learning here at City College? Oh my gosh, that would be amazing, right? Things that I want you to work on for next time is just tone and pace, right? We kind of already talked about this. So Prentice and I have already kind of done this work one-on-one, so he's like leveled up here, and I'm really stoked that he came and kind of shared with us. So thank you, Prentice. All right. Now, we've heard a lot from the dudes. I'd like to invite any one of the ladies to come and sit for community feedback. If not, it's okay. But I want to make that space available.
I'll volunteer.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Let's give it up for Jung.
Definitely work in progress.
That's okay. We're all works in progress.
Hi, my name is Jung. I'm a commercial photographer. I use my visualization skills, creative eye, and photography know-how to translate ideas into images for my clients. My love of photography began as a child when I would compose and photograph objects for fun. Later, as I grew older, I realized the power of the camera to tell stories. And in my first career in nonprofit communications, I saw the critical need for visuals to engage the hearts and minds of supporters and donors. Currently, I am assisting commercial photographers to gain hands-on experience. I'm building my own portfolio in editorial, portraiture, and food photography, and honing my skills and style for my second career. So I'm very excited to be talking with you today and getting feedback on my pitch. Thank you.
Woo! Excellent. Excellent. All right. Who's got feedback for Jung?
I've got a question.
Yes.
You mentioned at the end something about a second career. Is photography your
Yeah.
second career? So you have something else and you're working towards becoming.
This is, so that's where I need help
Okay.
is my story part,
Okay.
because I had another life in nonprofits, and then I left it
Okay.
to pursue photography.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
part was
full-time.
maybe a little confusing
Yeah.
just as a listener because I thought you were like already doing that as a primary career, and then
Yeah.
when you mentioned it, I wasn't sure
Yeah,
where to pick up. So clarity there.
need to wordsmith it some more.
So let's, if I may,
Yeah.
why did you leave nonprofits?
I joke that, well, the honest truth is that I was too afraid to pursue photography.
Mm.
It's something that's really scary to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of artistic poverty, I chose noble poverty. Not that you have to be poor to work in nonprofits or have to be poor and struggle in the arts, but it's a joke.
Right.
So I did the noble thing because it was responsible and it felt a little bit more safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's usually kind of part of my spiel.
I think you should say that, personally. And I think you should just say something to the effect of, in a previous life, I took that noble vow of poverty and I was working in the nonprofit game. Mostly because, what do your parents always say? You want to piss your parents off, pursue a career in the arts, right? But I said, you know what? The hell with that. I'm going after photography full time, and that's what I'm doing, right? It doesn't matter what you say. It's all about how you say it. And especially if you have these little, we all have insecurities about something, right? But if you present it with confidence and strength, it's not going to matter. So I think you should own it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How many of y'all want to learn more about her? Right? And that's the whole point. Right? Cool. Any other feedback?
I liked how your tools were not, they were sort of higher level ideas about skills that you have, not so much it's a piece of hardware or it's a software. Not that's fine to do that too, but it was sort of bigger picture. Instead of I use this brand camera, it was, I forget exactly what you said, but it was.
Yeah.
Creative skills and photography know-how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creative eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said? Creative eye?
I said visualization skills, creative eye, and photography.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Excellent. My only piece of feedback for you would be just a little shorter.
Okay.
Just a touch.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all. With that is Pitch Essentials. I would love to know what questions about any of the items we've been talking about today do you have? All right. Going once. Going twice. Yes, Roy.
I guess maybe where would you start first? Would you start with your past first?
Well, when we're assembling a mullet, business in front, party in back, right? Go in the order. Your name, what you are, your tools. Then Past, present, future. Follow the path. Okay, y'all. One more thing I do want to kind of talk about. We all know as City College participants that this place is the bomb. The faculty know their stuff very well, right? Like, amazingly so. The challenge is that employers outside of this place have a stigma around community college. So, what I would suggest is use the phrase brushing up on my technical skills. Right? If they ask where or how, then you say, oh yeah, I'm taking classes at City College. I love it. Right? But don't be forthcoming with that information because it might put you in a hole to begin with. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's reality. Okay? That make sense? Cool. Okay. So, in about 10 seconds after we're done here, I'm going to send you a thank you email with a survey link. Please take the survey. Tell me what you like, what you hated, right? I want to get stronger at this. And thank you so much for being a part of the second Convenient Workforce Wednesday. Give yourselves a round of applause. And of course, let's give it up to Megan for videotaping and audio taping. Thank you, Megan. Woo! All right, y'all. Please make sure you connect with each other, talk with each other. If you found someone interesting, make sure you connect with them on LinkedIn. And next month, visual media design. Get ready. All right.
So this happens every month?
Yeah. Thank you.